Well, most of the historical written records come from people who passed through the region, and most of them were, frankly, it struck terror in them. They had no frame of reference for a place that had literally no trees and no markers to guide someone across the vast expanse. And so ultimately it becomes known as the Llano Estacado by the Spanish. American explorers came through and called it the Great American Desert because they thought there was nothing here worth tilling up for crops or even for grazing. It certainly confuses people and makes them feel very uncertain and unstable when they're out in a place like that. And that's certainly true here.
You can always see your destination. You can see where you're going. I mean, all you have to do is look at the spot on the horizon and point to it and drive to it, and eventually you get there. It may take some time because the scale of things is kind of, that's 20 miles away, and it might be 50 miles away.
Yeah, the first time I moved here back in 1997, there was a storm that was off what I thought was in the eastern Panhandle. And I called the station and said, where's that storm? Is it over by Wheeler or Shamrock? They're like, dude, what are you worried about? It's in Oklahoma City. I'm like, that's 250 miles away. You gotta be kidding me. So it took a while to get used to the treeless plains.
The Panhandle, the flatland, is definitely why I live here. Anytime I travel, I can't wait to get back, especially for storm chasing. It's perfect for storms in that matter, just because how far you can see, you don't have any obstructions.
An artist named Frank Reaugh, and one example is an 1888 painting called the Roundup in Texas, and he really captures what it meant to be out here where there were no landmarks, there were no trees, there's really no reference points.
Something about the flatland, what it does to you, you see a lot more sky than anybody else in the rest of the world, and so I think because we look at so much sky, we're more dreamers than most folks.
In some ways, I think it kind of gives a sense of wonder because you can see for so far, and that everything's not like all up in you and all up in your space, and that it's that sense of the world just goes on forever.
The Panhandle has always been made fun of because we're so flat. Everybody I know that lives in a bigger city always says, oh my gosh, there's no trees, there's no hills, there's nothing. But the one thing we do have is wonderful, wonderful sunrises and sunsets.
If you lose your dog out here, you can see him running for 2 weeks. There's a lot of great jokes related to our flatlands, and I think we've embraced that pretty well.
Celebrating the Panhandle spirit, Larry Lemmons, ABC 7 News.